Let's talk about wind loads in visual analysis. In this example, I have a simple structure with 4 walls and a sloped roof. If you look at my directions, the z-axis is running in this direction, the x-axis in this direction. To do wind loads in visual analysis, the first thing you need to do is to drop down the service case dialog and select one of the possible wind directions. We have possibilities for wind in the plus x, plus y, minus y, plus z and minus z, as well as the directional values of plus x, plus y, and so forth through all the combinations. So all of the directions you would see in figure 27.4-8 of ASCE 7 will appear in this list. Let's look at doing wind loads in the plus x direction. So I select that in my service case dialog. And now to apply wind loads, they have to be applied at area loads. So for wind in the plus x direction, let's select this side of the structure, right mouse button, apply area load. And now when we look at the load information in the inspector, we're going to switch its type to ASCE 7 wind. Note that this option for ASCE 7 wind will only appear if your service case is of one of the wind load sourced cases. Once I do that, we now notice that the area load has significantly more information to enter. All of the information here appears in ASCE 7, represents basic wind load information. What's specific to this load only is just this first set of information. For wind in the plus x direction, if you look at it, this is a windward wall, which has been selected for us. The calculated pressure currently is given as well as the direction of the normal for the particular area. The remaining information is case specific, so it won't need to change for each wind load you apply. Let's suppose our exposure category stays at C, enclosed. The projected width of our structure, this is in the Z direction now for an X direction wind, is 50 feet, and the side length, which is the length in the X direction, is 42 feet. We'll let the inward pressure default to outward. Notice the internal pressure can be inward as well, and it's possible if you wanted to consider all possible cases, you would need to create additional service cases and switch your internal pressures to inward. The roof pressure doesn't apply to this one, but we will use the first value of what's shown in figure 27.4-1 for the roof value. KD factor will leave default to 0.85. We're not going to worry about topographic effects, large volume reduction, or air density results. Our ground elevation is 0, and for our structure, our mean roof height is 15 feet, so I will set that. We'll assume our ground wind speed is 105 miles an hour, and our gust factor is 0.85. So all that information needs to be set when you enter your first wind load. So now that I've selected that, we can take a look at the area load that was generated, and it for a wind loading in the X direction, that appears correct for the windward wall. Now we have to work our way around to do this for everything on the structure. Let's pick this element, which is a roof element. Again, we'll apply an area load. It's going to be an ASCE 7 load. This happens to be the windward roof, however, so we will select that as windward roof. Everything else is set for us. Let's do our other roof. This would be the leeward roof, so I will select it, apply area load. Always we got to switch it from uniform to ASCE 7 and make sure that it is the leeward roof. Direction outward on the leeward roof. This is a side area, so we're going to select it, apply area load, go to ASCE 7 wind, and make sure this is a sidewall. We're going to go around to the back side here, select it, apply an area load. This one is going to be a leeward wall. We have that. And all we have left now is this other side area. We'll select it, apply an area load. This one, we're going to switch again to make sure it's wind, and this one is going to be a side wall. So that demonstrates then how area loads are generated in visual analysis. In summary, you need to go ahead and select a service case that is a wind type direction. And then for each of your areas, you will select them and change them to a ASCE 7 wind. And then once you do that, the very first one, you have to be careful. The second set of information has to be set. The exposure category, width, length, internal pressure direction, which roof value you're going to use, the ground elevation, mean roof height. These values at the bottom here are project-wide. You'll only need to set them once. And then for each area, as you create it, make sure and set its wind surface type. And then all the rest will be taken care of as far as generating the wind loads.